So you're cool with me doing this, right?
I mean, I'm not, but
I mean, we can negotiate a cut.
No.
Okay, well then there you go. If you're not going to negotiate with me with potential winnings. Also, serious question as it relates to your futures. How many futures have you actually hit? Like substantial futures have you actually hit? Because I always hear about these. I got a real nice ticket here, ... How many of these have you actually hit?
Not as many as I would like.
Of course.
But it is the one aspect of gambling that I'm okay at.
Okay.
And B, I do believe you can be successful at.
With futures.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's in fool's errand to try to bet on games and day to day and all this other stuff. Like you can do it to entertain yourself, but you're not going to make any money.
Dude, I had that conversation with my brother about like the parlay thing because he had a couple parlays big
early. Yeah.
And he's like, oh, this is easy. And he's like, I'll throw another $10 here. I'll throw another $10 here. And suddenly the money that you won is vanishing. So it's kind of, that's like my Vegas attitude. If I go to, like the last time I was actually in a casino is I won some money and I called it quits and I used that money just to buy some beer.
Well, you'll remember my NFL brief history of Giglio NFL gambling.
Yes.
The Chiefs piped me.
Yes,
multiple times.
Yes, I know.
And then last year, I finally just said, I'm taking this Chiefs ticket. I'm not hedging it. I'm not doing anything with it.
Yeah.
And what happens? They show up in the Super Bowl and get absolutely boat raced.
I'm going to drink this thing. You ready?
Let's do it,
All
man.
right, let's do this. Okay. Let's podcast alongside Joe Giglio. I'm Joe Ovies inside Eford Studios in downtown Raleigh, thanks to Empire Properties and thanks to Copiers Plus. Check them out online at copiers-plus.com. Print management, document management, also a fake NASCAR team owner, Copiers Plus. We'll explain what we mean by that in housekeeping. But yes, we've added a fake racing team sponsor for Copiers Plus. We're going to go ahead and check them out. Also, it's Thursday. We're live on YouTube thanks to our friends at The Butcher's Market. So check them out online at thebutchersmarkets.com. It's a busy weekend, man. We got college football playoff action tonight. We've got NFL wildcard action on Saturday and Sunday. I think the weather's going to be okay. Maybe you want to grill. Maybe you don't want to think about it. Maybe you're going to a party or whatever it is. You can bring dips, ham biscuits, you name it. They got it. And prepared meals all at The Butcher's Market. So we thank them for sponsoring OG Live. Brendan Marks from The Athletic is going to join us in about 7 minutes or so. We're going to do a look at the ACC at the midway point of the season. Just how many ACC teams are we looking at for the NCAA tournament? What are some pros and cons of what we've seen from Duke, North Carolina, NC State? However, it is actually a good time to talk to Brendan because Brendan, in a previous life, was the beat writer for the Carolina Panthers. He just so happened to be the beat writer at the end of the Cam Newton era, which we're bringing back. Cam is theoretically going to pound the drum on Saturday. The Panthers put out a tweet that used the Cam font, the Cam lettering.
Oh, really?
Right? So clearly he's going to be there on Saturday, which is good, which is why I think the playoff vibes are going to be fantastic, which is the reason why, Joe, it's finally time to open up another one of these Super Bowl 50 Bud Light cans.
I just hope there's no magic in there.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of people have been asking, hey, man, how come you haven't opened up the beer yet? And I said, because I have to wait to use the beer at the right time. Remember, the way the pattern was going to shake out, it would be they win, lose, win, lose, win, lose. Okay, well, they're supposed to beat the Bucs at the end of the season. They didn't do that. So they broke the pattern theoretically at the right time because they backdoored their way into the playoffs with the NFC South title through a tiebreaker. But now it's time to break out the big run. If we're bringing Cam Newton back, if we are tapping into the nostalgia of 10 years ago, bringing Cam Newton back in a very special, magical MVP season that resulted in a Super Bowl 50 appearance, well, then the only thing I am left to do is to match those vibes with this bad boy, a Bud Light Super Bowl 50 aluminum can. Let's see how this sounds.
Oh,
got a little fizz.
Oh,
it's got a little fizz to it.
Not terrible.
Not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. I did bring a pint glass in today. just to see. I'm going to make sure y'all can see this on the camera. And I got to make sure that I pour this in such a way that I look like I've never had a beer before. I've never poured a beer before. In fact, I might be practicing for our OG birthday bash where we do perfect pours of things. Who knows?
Yes.
Ooh, no, this isn't good, Joe. This isn't good. There's stuff in there.
Did something just pop out?
No, if you're watching, there's like some sediment in there.
Ooh,
I don't know how that sediment got in there. Do you see it? Do you see it floating around a little bit?
I mean, you're committed.
Hey, look,
and there's a lot of bubble there too.
There is. I gotta say, all things considered, it's not as clear as I thought it would be, given that it's a Bud Light. But the fact that there's some stuff floating in there gives me some pause.
Yeah, but you've never poured any of your other mystery drinks before, so
I have actually. Remember when I poured out those old sodas, the blue soda?
You poured those?
Oh, I poured those. I poured those out. Remember when I poured out that Carolina blue soda from '82? And I mean, it was not the color it was supposed to be.
That's right.
And it tasted like rust. So, you know what? I drank water from a hose. So all those minerals, I should be fine. I don't see what the problem would be.
You bought this one on the internet now.
I did buy this one on the internet.
Probably should have a disclaimer that says something about buying things on the internet and not trying this at home. And yeah.
So
maybe we should run that by Josh.
Clear.
We don't encourage this behavior. And you also have to be 21 to drink.
Yeah. I'll say this about this beer. It does. Usually Bud Light just tastes like beer flavored water, right?
Yeah.
You know, if you will, beer flavored beer. This clearly tastes, it's like the worst combination of things in that you can tell the Bud Light's still there, but it also has a back end sweetness that it's not supposed to have. It's almost too sweet. And
Really?
that's because it's been sitting in there. Yeah, that's what happens to the those Dogfish 120s that people sit on.
Yeah.
They kind of become a little sludgy. And to me, they get a little overly sweet. In my opinion. So I think that's kind of where we're at with this. It's still bubbly, though. Got to give it credit, man. Got to give it credit. It's still bubbly. Anyway.
You're going to finish that?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll finish it. What's the worst that could happen? Montezuma's Revenge at Weight Competition Center later tonight?
Do I got to get 911 just punched and then...
No. Come on. Okay. What could these little floating bits be? What could they be?
You bought it on the internet, so...
It cracked open, had the little safety seal still on it.
So trusting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know what else this tastes like, Joe?
A Panthers win.
Exactly. It tastes just like a Panthers win. It tastes just like victory. It tastes like not only are the Carolina Panthers going to cover, they're just going to straight up win. I'm not going to lie. I'm feeling a little lightheaded now. Maybe not the best idea. Big thanks.
Good thing a lot of today's show has been already recorded.
Live to tape, if you will.
Just know the part where you die.
Big thanks to DraftKings. Use that promo code OG25. Again, that's OG25. You bet $5. You can turn that $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins with our friends at DraftKings. So again, check them out. Download the app. Use that promo code OG25. As I mentioned, again, lines are subject to change. Odds are subject to change. Currently, the Carolina Panthers are 10.5-point dogs to the LA Rams. Do we know what the weather is going to be on Saturday yet? At 4:30, do I got to look that up? Let me look this up real quick. According to
because we could really use a little nonsense for.
Yeah, I mean, if there's going to be some rain in the forecast on Saturday. Oh, look at this, Joe. We have a 95% chance of rain, with the worst of it 60%, 95%. It's earlier in the day, but then rain's supposed to come through around 6:00 on Saturday.
This feels like a good thing
in Charlotte. That does feel like a good thing.
Second half. Yeah.
Hey, all I'm saying is I'm not drinking this beer for nothing. Matt Stafford. Just saying, not great in those conditions. Not great when you got to go to the West Coast, the East Coast in these situations. So I do like the Panthers to just straight up win. I was looking at the DraftKings app, and I thought it was kind of funny to see.
So you get pretty good odds on the Panthers money line if you want it.
You could do that. I also liked Polynesian Power.
I'm sorry? Yeah,
Puka Nakua and Teteroa McMillan, 20-plus receptions. I like how they called it Polynesian Power.
Okay.
So to get to the NFC title game, currently they are plus 6,500, the Carolina Panthers.
Okay.
To win the Super Bowl, they are currently plus 20,000. But I got one for you. I got one that's even better than that. Oh, by the way, Bryce Young also plus 20,000 to win the MVP in the Super Bowl. But here's the thing that I thought was interesting, and I might just put $5 down on this because if the vibes are immaculate, if the vibes are matching the San Francisco Super Bowl 50 from 10 years ago, and why I'm drinking this, the odds for the Panthers to lose in the Super Bowl, which you can get on DraftKings.
Yeah, the stage of elimination.
The Carolina Panthers to lose in the Super Bowl, plus 10,000. You know I'm putting $5 down on that.
Yeah, I can see you doing that.
I'm absolutely doing that. So big thanks to DraftKings Sportsbook, and of course, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. It makes every NFL playoff moment feel bigger. DraftKings has your back with early exit protection. If the player in your eligible NFL prop bet goes down at any point in the first half, you can still get paid in cash. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use that promo code OG25. Again, that's OG25. Turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus in most states, void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline is Brendan Marks from The Athletic. Joe, are you okay, bro? Do you need some of this beer? Do you need some of this beer?
I'm laughing because what we do is not very difficult, right?
It's not.
Right?
It's not.
But it feels like a little bit of a challenge. Like, hey, here's an idea for you. Anybody can podcast on Monday, but can you drink a 10-year-old beer and then do the DraftKings read?
I did it. Did I?
I'm definitely getting getting an email from them.
Do I have to do it again?
There's no doubt.
I'm like, do I have to do it again? Did I miss something?
No, I'm sure there was a stumble in there. So.
Hey, from was it CT Heron? It's just dead yeast, right? It's basically a protein smoothie at this point. That's what's floating around.
Yeah.
That's the best. That's the best argument for drinking a beer I've ever heard. It's just,
don't drink the rest of that sludge. Who says no? Kyle, you're saying it's an antibiotic at this point. You're right. I'm with you on that. I don't see what the problem is. Cheers, Brendan.
Can I get a futures bet on Ovies? Oh, man.
Salute, Brendan. Hey, man, we're going to talk hoops. But before we talk hoops,
shenanigans.
I thought it was appropriate to talk to you today because Cam Newton's supposed to be back on Saturday to do the Keep Pounding drum. And people have been begging the Panthers to do this. Fans have been wondering, why the hell won't Cam Newton come back? What's going on? What has to happen, right? Especially when you're dealing with the anniversary, the 10-year anniversary of their Super Bowl season. So it's happening. I love the vibes here. I guess you were there at the end. What's the one thing that people either misremember or maybe don't have the full picture on, which would lead to a reunion like this probably taking longer than it needed to?
Ooh, that's a great question. The Panthers precedent is one thing, like the whole Smitty situation. I think that's one, but I feel like that's pretty well known at this point. Mm-hmm. Panthers and taking care of their own have not always been an interlocking Venn diagram.
Fair.
I think the one thing about, like, Cam, I think, has finally come around, at least in the appearances that I've heard of him in the last, 6 months, year or so. He's finally come around to like, I'm cooked. I was done, end of my line. And I think people don't, it took him until probably the last 6 months to accept that. I think people have forgotten how much Cam thought he still had left in the tank.
Mm-hmm.
It's like an inverse graph of how much Luke Kuechly probably did have in the tank and how much Cam thought he had in the tank. Those things are polar opposites. But yeah, I think that's one reason. And it was obviously contentious because of that. And the whole Tepper thing, I think that's probably underrated too.
Yeah.
I mean, the Richardson Tepper timing of everything, I certainly think that sort of muddied the waters a little bit. And it also wasn't just Cam, right? It was that whole, it was the whole cliff falling into the ocean. It was Luke.
That,
yeah. It was Luke. It was Greg. It was TD. It was, but it's I
you know who I blame the most in all of this?
Who?
Matt Rule. I blame Matt Rule the most in this situation because when Matt Rule took that job over, it wasn't so much it's time to move into a different direction. I mean, look, every professional franchise goes through phases.
Yeah.
They all go through phases, and you eventually have to say goodbye to some people and remember the good days. But then, and to your point, sports never really ends in a great way, but there's better ways to handle it. And I think Matt Rule was so hell-bent, as we come to find out after the fact, he was so hell-bent on making that franchise another college type thing with his binder and One of Us and all these other, like he wanted to get rid of Keep Pounding. Like those were all things that would lead you to believe that he probably was also a roadblock more so than anything else because he wanted to be the focus and not admit defeat that I got to bring Cam back. Irony was he did have to bring Cam back, and they won a freaking football game in Arizona, which was, again, one of the bright spots of that entire tenure.
And it gave us a meme that is still the gift that keeps on giving. I'm back. That is great. Me hitting my first parlay in 3 months, you bet I'm sending that thing to every group chat I have. Me showing up to a basketball game in November after not seeing anyone in the media for 4 months. I'm back. That's one of my list.
I gotta give Cam credit, man. His playing days provides memes on memes on memes, including the he's got the hoodie up. He's doing the thing where he's like, "Yep, I'm gonna get back in there. It's time to go and win." That's a universal meme for everybody as well. But yeah, man, I think I said this earlier in the week, and I'm sure you could agree with this, in that since you were there at the very awkward time of moving on from Cam Newton, firing Ron Rivera, and going on to this next generation, fans have been through, in a short amount of time, I'm sure other people would tell you, if you're a Lions fan, hey man, I don't want to hear anything about how long you've gone without winning or whatever it is. But for Panthers fans, man, that time frame from up until now has sucked straight up.
100%. And the response, I don't know about you guys, but I'm in a lot of group chats, a lot of Panthers fans, obviously being in North Carolina. Up until this news was announced, I had basically heard from two, I think Panthers fans had kind of fallen into two groups as far as the playoffs were concerned. One group was like, I would consider the, realist, if not pessimist, which is, hey man, the Rams objectively are probably a lot better than us. We could get smacked. I can turn the TV off at home. I'd rather do that than spend $200 on a ticket and another $100 on everything else. The other group were there's only been 9 or 10 of these in the history of the franchise. It hasn't happened in 10 years. I'm excited. I'm going. I don't care what it costs. There was a small subsection, I think, in the middle there who were waffling. I can't tell you how many people have said to me, I'm going just for the pregame now. I'm going just to see Cam and to have that again. Like, it's the transport back to better days. It's crazy that it has been that long since the better days.
Nostalgia is a funny thing, man. Just ask Will Wade, who dressed up like Jimmy V to get all of the nostalgia going, to get people fired up, right? But instead, what we happen to be nostalgic about is that NC State seems very much on a trajectory of just last year with North Carolina. 25 Carolina, 26 NC State. They almost seem like a Spider-Man pointing meme in their resume to this point. There's still a lot of basketball left, Brendan. So we've talked plenty about this, but what's the perspective from the national side of things as it relates to NC State's season so far?
Yeah, I certainly am partially to blame for this because I drank the Kool-Aid, right? Like I went.
You weren't alone. Don't act like you were the only one.
No, I know, but I went. I spent a couple of days with them in the preseason, saw the pieces, practice looked great. I think I told you at ACC Media Day, Paul McNeil was the best player I'd seen there.
Yeah.
And he's been good, but I very much bought in, thought like top 25, yada, yada. And fact of the matter is, from a national perspective, there's like 4 ACC teams that matter right now. And NC State is in that next group. And they are, at this point, from a resume perspective, not really different from a Clemson or a Miami or a SMU. Like, they're in that tier right now. They are further from competing for the top than they are, than I thought they would be. So I think the Spider-Man pointing meme, and it's not just because Van Allen is wearing both Spider-Man suits, but I don't think that it's an unfair comparison by any means. I still think they can be a tournament team, but it's clear that the ceiling is not the roof.
The league is so different, though. Like, those two teams might have similar resumes, but it'll be a different path for State because of the way that the league has improved. Do you think that's something beyond just investing and the revenue sharing, or do you think that the coaches are magically finding life, or what other theory could there be other than we're seeing an uptick in actual roster investment?
I think they're related. Like, and I keep going back to the example of the SEC in like the mid 2010s, right? So they bring in people from the Big East who say, look, you guys have to invest. You have to get coaches who matter. You have to get coaches who know how to win and know how to do this stuff. And look at all this football money you have to do it. So you go out, you hire Bruce Pearl, you hire Nate Oates, you hire Rick Barnes, you hire these guys who are, obviously some of the best coaches in the sport. And when you then put the money behind them and empower them to make roster decisions, it's a trickle-down effect and it creates stability. Like, that's the thing that the ACC has missed. You haven't had any sort of stability. How many years in a row have we talked about the up-and-coming HC coaches who are going to establish themselves this year, and like, it hasn't materialized. But this year, you have seen some of these coaches who have a little bit of run. They finally have the resources. Like, look, if you gave Rod Autry some money, he can go and he can get some pieces and he can put together a competent team. Brad Brownell, he is what he is at this point. Like, doubt him at your own risk. Stanford is probably I was texting young Shelby Swanson about this morning. Stanford is probably my favorite, maybe bad basketball team in the country right now. They beat Louisville. Like, their resume is prohibitive, at least at this point, from them making the tournament, but they're good. Stanford is fun and good. So I don't think you can separate those two things. And like, you look at the league right now, and in a lot of those marquee places, there is at least some semblance, it seems, of stability.
Shire talked about this. John Shire, Duke head basketball coach, talked about this after another slow start against Florida State. And I understood what he was trying to do. Somebody in this league has to fight for the league. And I think Shire, it's a separate conversation at Duke. He's still young. He's still got there, but he's been here long enough to understand that somebody has to take the mantle and prop the league up in some form or fashion, right? Kay would do this. Roy would do this. Leonard Hamilton would do this. I could go on and on and on. And his argument was that, while yes, we can sit here and have a conversation about us and our slow starts, let's also be honest about how good Florida State might be. There's a different team under their new coach in Luke Loutz. That Georgia Tech, they're trying to build something, right? We see SMU, a team that we're not thinking of, but damn it, man, they look pretty good. And we clearly saw this with Boopy Miller taking it to UNC.
The Boop.
I get where Shire's coming from, in that you're trying to promote the league in a way that has been difficult to do so the last couple of years. I gave up last year. I just straight up gave up last year. But this year it does look like this is not vintage ACC, but it's certainly an ACC that is respectable, comparable to years past. Is that a correct assumption?
1,000%. And, our resident bracketologist at The Athletic, he had 8 teams in the field in his first iteration. That would be the most, I think, since 19. Maybe the most since 18 or 17. Like, you have to go back that time. We've been in the wilderness for at least 5 years. And it's coincided with the portal, and it's coincided with NIL, and it's coincided with all of these retirements. And look, at the end of the day, like, the ACC is a basketball league, and Jim Phillips has been pounding the drum to all of these schools. You guys have got to put the money in. You have got to put the money in. Like, stop. And I think the revenue distribution formula, at least it to some extent, makes it worth it now. Like, other than Boston College, with all due respect, like, there aren't any truly, like, albatross sort of teams in the league. Like, Pitt beat Ohio State. They're down there, but like, Pitt beat Ohio State. Stanford's got some bad losses. They knocked off Louisville. Cal beat UCLA. Like, the middle is just so much better than it used to be. And Obviously that's because the ACC also took care of business in the non-conference. We've talked a bajillion times about how important that is. The ACC finally handled its business this year. No, it's not vintage ACC. I don't think it's ever probably going to be vintage ACC, but in the mutant new all-coast conference version of the league,
right.
I think what we're looking at right now, where you have one national title contender and 4 or 5 teams that are going to be jockeying in the top 25 all year, that's pretty damn good. I would take that.
In Chapel Hill, it feels like we're getting to the not a crisis point, but it feels like it's time for Hubert to put Derek Dixon into the lineup as his starting point guard. How do you see that pivot position kind of playing out? It's so important at Carolina, right? Like we just can't wrap our brain around not knowing or understanding who the Carolina point guard is.
100%. It's been the conversation for months now, right? Like, was Kyan Evans actually going to be that guy? I thought you guys and Shelby nailed it actually a couple of days ago talking about it. Like, the one thing that I would add to that conversation about Dixon versus Kyan and to what extent Hubert Davis thinks about this, we do not know.
Right.
There is a payroll component to this too.
Okay.
Kyan Evans, I can tell you for a fact, is making more money than Derek Dixon is this year. Kyan Evans is making, the entire payroll for a couple of teams a couple of years ago this year. And so there is that piece of it. Like, and not to say that Hubert is not above putting somebody on the pine who's making a lot of money. Exhibit A, Cade Tyson. Here you go. If you're not contributing, like Hubert has shown he'll do that. But I do think that in conjunction with that's the way I'd be looking at that beer too.
Yeah, no, you're right. Sorry, I distracted you. Is this
in conjunction with the Kyan Evans, do you lose him if you bench him conversation? I do think is the payroll and the monetary ask piece of it, and what that means for the future, resource allocation. I do think that's tied in.
But I'm gonna stop you right there, Brendan.
Yeah.
What's the goal here? Like, is the goal to win, or is it to? I feel like I understand it from a perspective of, you can look at this a couple of ways. I'm old enough to remember, and some of our audience is old enough to remember, that you go to Best Buy, you go to a record store, and you buy a CD for $18, right? And you bought that CD because there's this banger of a track. Come to find out that that's the only damn track worth anything on the CD. But damn it, you spent $18 on this CD, so I'm going to listen to this freaking CD as much as I can.
Yeah,
I'm thinking of Stone Temple Pilots. Songs from the Vatican gift shop. That's the one that's immediately coming to mind for me right now. As a CD that I bought,
very
thinking,
specific.
Right, you can remember these. You can remember these CDs, all right? And I spent $18 on this damn CD.
You didn't have a 3-song rule for CDs?
No.
Really?
Well, also with Stone Temple Pilots, they had already had a track record of Core and Purple.
Right.
So, okay, cool. They should be still good. Instead, I got this really tinny, terrible album.
It was a vote of faith.
With one track on it that was worth a damn. But you spent $18 on it. So damn it, you're going to listen to this freaking CD.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get it from that perspective. There's a sunk cost at some point. So to spin this to a basketball roster, yes, you spent a lot of money on Kyan Evans, but I don't have to be like, well, I might as well put Kyan Evans back in again because I spent $18 on this thing.
You spend all that money on Alex Seaman.
When I say the payroll piece of it, I just think yes, the short term is obviously to win as many games as possible, to have the best team, the best season, right. All that, 100%.
Put the best team on the floor, regardless of what your payroll consideration is. You've already spent the money,
but the payroll is also a future consideration.
Okay,
yeah, and you have to think about it. Like, I'll take it. Let's go back to Hubert's first season, right? The whole Dawson Garcia situation.
Mm-hmm. Oh God.
Okay. Well, hold on a second. Hold on.
No, I know. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Go on.
You're about to prove the axiom.
Go ahead.
If something good can happen to Carolina,
go ahead.
Let me hold for a second here. Okay, Dawson Garcia has a family situation that arises and has to leave in the middle of the season, and North Carolina and Hubert Davis go out of their way not just to acquiesce that request, but also to make the situation as good as possible for Dawson for the future. That, I would argue, was much more about the future, and it was about Dawson himself. It was about making sure that transfers know, if I come to Carolina, even if it doesn't work out, they're going to take care of me. Derek Dixon's a really good, promising player. Seth Trimble's out of eligibility last year. North Carolina does not have another point guard on the roster for last year. Hubert Davis is going to give the keys to the point guard. I just think that for the future lens, there has to be some sense of like, okay, I spent the money. This was my guy. I'm not ready to pull the trigger quite yet. Because if you do that in 3 months, when you're looking for another one of these guys, they're all going to go, well, look what you just did to Kyan Evans.
Okay.
I think there's some element of that. And also, if you want to play devil's advocate, Derek Dixon, if he is the better point guard, if you put him in the starting lineup, what does UNC's second lineup become? With Kyan Evans and Jonathan Powell and Zayden High and James Brown, and I just scared myself.
Well, no, now it's the Alabama kid, Evans and Powell, and that's it. You play 8 guys. The rest of the stuff, it's like, as our guy Will Wade likes to say, kindergarten's over.
Kindergarten's over?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think Hubert also has.
If you could get him, if you could convince him to go back to that Colorado State mentality of, hey, you're the secondary kind of shooter scorer. I need you to hit some threes. I think there's a way to make that work while also protecting Dixon and your kind of future interests. I just like the size of Dixon.
I do too.
He kind of help you defensively. You're not asking at this point, since Evans really can't shoot, you're not asking that position to help you score. I feel like you're just asking that position to help you set up those bigs the way that you are. And I think that could be a productive decision. So,
yeah,
I'm not saying it's easy. I think you're right. You're thinking of it from the program type of viewpoint, which we're not going to think about those things. But you're right. I mean, that is part of the element. But there is the Alexander Seaman element of it. At some point, you have to realize you're not getting your money back, and you have to make the decisions to put your team in the best position to win.
I will say this. One last thing on this. At the beginning of the year, looking at this roster, I thought that they looked a lot like the team from 2 years ago, which was a number 1 seed, won the ACC, RJ Davis Player of the Year. The reason that team was so good that year is because of its defense. They were top 5 in adjusted efficiency at KenPom all year long. Obviously, Alabama just, penciled holes in that in the NCAA tournament, but that was the reason why they were so good. Armando Bacot finally became something of a rim protector. He wasn't a complete liability in drop coverage. I thought Hubert and UNC were going to lean into that entirely, which they did to start the year by putting Stevenson at the 3 and just being the biggest team in college basketball. Going to Bogovac at the 3 and now staying with Evans at the point guard means that your second, to me, that signals that right now, if I'm Hubert Davis, I'm a little bit worried about my offense. I'm more focused on my offense than I am about my defense. And so I think in that line of things, maybe keeping Dixon in the second unit also makes sense.
All right, last thing before I polish this off. And by the way, all
that's going to polish you off.
It's fine. Look. All jokes aside, people.
I'm just not him and not me.
People drink bottle conditioned beer all the time. Now, I don't think that people typically bottle condition Bud Light. So I'll grant you
an aluminum.
I will grant you. I grant you. There's a difference between bottle conditioning a Dogfish 120 and bottle conditioning a Bud Light. I totally understand what you're saying. And yes, there's sediment at the bottom of this, but sediment is perfectly fine to drink, Joe.
It looks like you pulled that out of Falls Lake.
All right. So before I polish this off, something that I posed on the podcast earlier this week, get your opinions on this. Duke's slow starts, a thing or not a thing?
I'm much more concerned about their defense than I am about their slow starts.
Their defense is not consistent, but when it's time, like when the money's on the line, their defense has stepped up.
So I thought we would go here. I pulled some numbers. So over the course of the year, Duke, I like Bart Torvik as far as an efficiency metric. Everybody uses KenPom. I like Bart Torvik too because it lets you sort by date. And so for the entirety of the year, Duke is 17th in adjusted defensive efficiency. They're also 17th in offensive efficiency. They're 12th overall in terms of overall team efficiency. That puts them obviously right in that tier B of sort of national title contenders. Since December 16th, when Duke played Lipscomb and looked not great, Duke is 21st in offensive efficiency, only down 4 spots. They are 107th in adjusted defensive efficiency, which drops them down to 48th nationally in overall efficiency, which sandwiches them between, Mississippi State, Auburn, and Wisconsin.
Oh.
So okay. I am worried about that. I thought that And it's not just the 3-point defense, it's the 2-point defense.
Yeah.
And Malik Brown's awesome. Pat Ngongba can be awesome. That first half of Louisville defensive tape was I can't imagine that was a fun watch for the Blue Devils when they got back.
Well, the thing is that Shire called himself out for the first half of that defense because it insisted on playing zone, thinking that Mikael Brown wasn't in the lineup, so they should be fine with that. And then, of course, we saw what happened, and then they changed it up.
But it's a 5-game sample.
Yeah.
And when you're getting torched by Georgia Tech and Florida State, when you let Christian Anderson single-handedly torpedo the lead that he did at the Garden, and when you have that first half against Louisville, that to me, the slow starts, like, I feel like that was an issue a couple of years ago, and they ultimately rectify it. Like,
sure.
That's fine. They're going to have, like with Evans's shooting, they're going to have some fluctuations there. The defense to me is the thing that I'm much more concerned about because, as you guys know, Shire has been a defense-first guy every single year that he has been Duke's head coach.
Uh-huh.
And right now, that end is not consistently holding up its end of the bargain.
I'm with you on that. All right, before we say goodbye, Kyle on the YouTube comments, I'd give anything to have a thought bubble over Ovies as he finishes the last swallow of what is going through his head. You know what's going through my head, folks? Content. That's what's going through my head. I do it for the content, number one. Number two, I do it for the vibes, which means Carolina Panthers are going to win they're going to win this weekend. Remember, I have another one. So I'm just saying, I'm keeping these things in the holster just in case.
The color of that other can and what's in I'm like wincing. The color of the other can and what's in the can might be the same.
All right, you know what? That last bit, gotcha. That's when the funk came out. That is when that's when I finally got the funk. And this is not a wicked weed. I am not at the Funkatorium. Okay. I am not having one of Whit Baker's crazy wild yeast. What's the name of the Saisons here? That's not what I'm having. Bud Lights are not supposed to be that funky. All right. Hey, Brendan, I'm glad you were here for this. This is why we're all friends.
Listen, I'm glad that I was here and not physically in the vicinity of this, but I listen. I don't know where the studio is, guys. I hope it's within driving distance of an urgent care.
We're not too far from Wake Med up Newbern.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah, we're there.
Yeah, we're there. It's not that far away. All right, Brendan. We'll talk to you later, man. Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Might need some I don't even know, man. I mean, maybe I need 2 roosters later. Anyway, big thanks to Mosquito Authority and Pest Authority. Check them out online at bugsbite.com. Again, that's bugsbite.com. You can take care of the inside of your house. Maybe you're thinking about a moisture barrier. It's very dry out right now. I get that. But spring's going to be here. Speaking of funky smells, if you got a funky smell in your crawl space, that could be an issue. Mosquito Authority and Pest Authority can take care of that for you. So check them out online at bugsbite.com. Big thanks to our friends at Bloomin' Blinds. We talk about a house a lot, like your house and blinds. So it totally makes sense. You got a outdoor space, looking for a sunshade, they could do those types of things. But let's say you own an office complex. Maybe you make decisions at a school, right? And it's time for new blinds. It's time for new shades. They can do commercial work as well. So check them out online at bloominblinds.com or call them directly at 919-980-9815. Again, that's 919-980-9815. That's direct. Or just go online for an estimate at Bloomin Blinds. That's INblinds.com. Big thanks to Longleaf. They're not going to give you funky beer at Longleaf.
Oh, only the good stuff.
They're just going to give you the good stuff at Longleaf, including OG Light, fresh OG Light. So check them out, longleafswine.com. Again, that's longleafswine.com. You might catch me at brunch this weekend because they always bring good stuff. The brisket burrito, breakfast burrito, is fantastic.
Yeah, they throw some extra good stuff in there.
It is fantastic. So check them out online, longleafswine.com. And of course, our friends at NC Grill Rescue, check them out at ncgrillrescue.com. You're done with the tailgate season. You're done with your holiday entertaining, but you want to make sure that grill or your outdoor kitchen or your tailgate setup, it's all cleaned properly, doesn't rust, extends the life of your setup that you've invested a lot of money in. To take care of it with our friends at ncgrillrescue.com.
No need to bury your barbecue. Call NC Grill Rescue. And now it's time for your NC Grill Rescue of the week.
Me.
I was saying this is the easiest one ever.
Me. I need a rescue. After
You need some bread or something. No chaser over there. That's very bold.
Woo!
You need a little bit of whiskey?
I might.
That's all I really have to offer.
No,
at this
I got a
point.
little bit of makers here I can polish off. Anyway, go to ncgrillrescue.com.
Housekeeping.
Big thanks to Enovana. You can check them out online at enovana.com.
If you have mess inside your mansion or trash in your cabana, get it clean with Enovana.
All right, a couple things. Yes, I know it sounds complicated and convoluted, but you know what? If you want it, you do it. And that is connecting your Discord account and the YouTube membership account together to get access to the Discord server, which there you can get the private RSS feed to the audio-only version of our YouTube membership channel content show.
Problem solving. I like that.
Look, it's as simple as this. If you're a YouTube membership channel member, if you signed up for it for all just $5.
Yeah.
And you want the audio only version of it, because I understand on the premium side of things that YouTube doesn't necessarily play in the background. Totally understand that. You want audio only? I'm going to make you work. So connect your Discord account and your YouTube account, and boom, you'll have access to our Discord server. Mikey P did it again.
This is phenomenal.
Mikey P did it again. Go to the secret shop, the OG.shop. Again, that's the OG.shop. It's where we keep some of the things, the constant rotation, some silly things that Mike P puts together. And you had a task for him. You wanted one of these
A Waffle House.
Waffle House ones, right?
Yeah.
Waffle House inspired. So he even made a polo.
I know.
So I've been wanting to do a NASCAR style shirt, throwback shirt that has a lot of our OG corporate champions on them. Corporate champions who've been with us for a very long time, corporate champions who are sticking with us in 2026. Like, how can we, it was almost like are you signed up for us for 2026? Here's a shirt. Here's a ridiculous shirt from us. Mikey P knocked it out of the park, man. This shirt is off the charts, fantastic. So it's the Copiers Plus Racing with Copiers Plus on the hood. You've got a lot of corporate champions on here: Miller Lending, Roback 2 Roosters, Whitaker Hamer, Butchers, State Farm, Matt Davis, Heister Automotive Group. I bet you they could buy that. They buy that car from us. Chris Brassfield, HTR, you name it. It's all there. Bugs Bite, Bloom and Blinds is on the trunk. Y23, well, that's when we started, 2023, right? So this shirt is now on the secret shop. You can also get it in a ridiculous hoodie.
The hoodie.
The hoodie is ridiculous.
He's got something going here now.
This is an embroidered OG media podcasting style logo.
On the front.
On the front, and on the back, you get that.
Wow.
That's pretty money, isn't it?
Wow.
That's pretty good stuff. So head on over to the OG.shop. Again, that's the OG.shop. And a reminder, because of scheduling conflicts, we will not be doing an After Dark on Saturday following the Panthers game. Apologies. This is not going to work out for the schedule. It is what it is. But we'll be here Monday with even more takes, because anybody can podcast on a Monday.
Anyway.
Let's see. What's Kyle got for me? That yeast is forming bread in your stomach.
I have a cheese
I'm
chaser
good,
for
man.
you.
Dude, I'm good. I'll probably polish it off with some bourbon. I'm not too concerned with it. Let's see. You sent me something related to the Canes. This actually floated into my timeline. This is
I did.
You sent this to me.
Yes.
So
I thought you would like this.
This is a Dallas Stars fan. Like, this genre of streaming, I don't understand. I actually understand this genre of streaming less than my kids watching a Minecraft YouTuber.
Okay. This is like a personalized Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yeah. So essentially, it used to be you would watch, say, Ninja play Fortnite.
Right.
You'd watch, I forgot the big YouTuber that was a Minecraft guy, and you'd see all these ridiculous builds. And while I prefer to play video games, I actually understood why my kids would want to watch YouTubers, because you're learning something like, oh, wow, look what they did in this Minecraft server.
Yeah.
Look what man, look what Ninja did on Fortnite. How did he do that? Crazy, right? What I don't understand is watching somebody watch a sporting event. Does that make sense?
Well, like I told you, it's like his own personal Manning cast.
I'd watch Peyton Manning talk about such things.
Hey, man, if you're a huge Stars fan, I don't know.
So this guy's a Stars guy. Stankoven walks ranting and scores beauty. Okay.
Nice move.
Is that Stankoven?
Logan Stankoven.
Okay.
Off of Archer and in. In his second game against the Stars, he has his first goal.
France 69 on the back.
Double goal in what's been a good period.
No, I can't hear that Stankoven message shit. I can't.
Turn
No,
off here in the
no,
first.
get that.
Come on, man.
The gold to me is the Marty Turco jersey.
was good.
What's good? He's feeling it. It's emotional.
Come on.
Visceral.
It's a regular season game at Carolina.
Hey, if you dedicated your life, like think about our massive respect that we have for Julian Council
Fair.
for doing a Panthers podcast on a weekly basis, on a daily
Fair.
basis.
No, you're right.
And having to only watch 16 games. This motherfucker's got to watch 82 games
You're
if he's
right.
really committing to the bit here.
You're right. You're right. I'll respect it. As somebody who's committed to the bit, I respect it. We went over to Lenovo Center yesterday to chat with Rod Brind'Amour, head coach of the Carolina Hurricanes.
I was gonna say, not everybody can have an amazingly insightful conversations with coaches and star players like we do.
It's like we can't. Speaking of which, before we were just killing some time, we were in the Canes locker room. And typically in these situations, sometimes you just go to like talk to the guys, not to do any sort of work, right?
Yeah.
But we had a new setup, so I wanted to try the new Rode mic, camera, and all that kind of stuff. So we used Seth Jarvis as a guinea pig. So what you're going to see here for the next 3 minutes or so is Giglio awkwardly giving Jarvis his conspiracy theories
Oh yeah.
as to whether he was actually hurt or not. And I don't know. And Jarvis was looking at you like, what? Anyway, here is Seth Jarvis being a real one, allowing us to experiment with a phone mic setup that we unveiled at the Christmas parade in the locker room.
All right, we're in the Hurricanes locker room right now, and I have a lot of conspiracy theories. So, Seth Jarvis, I'm just going to start with my first one. I think Rod Brind'Amour put in a call to the Canadian offices to keep you off of the Olympic team in order to preserve you and also motivate you for this stretch run.
That is a conspiracy theory.
Okay. So you're not buying credence to that.
No, I'm not buying into that one, but like I said, that is a theory.
But it is motivation for you. Because like as I like to say, you have big fuck you energy.
Yeah. I'm a little guy. I got to. It's definitely motivation.
For you would be, you've spent too much time sitting behind me up on the press box there, and you got tired of the coffee upstairs. That's why you weren't really hurt against the Panthers. That was all like a trick net. It was like a soft net.
Yeah.
You know, in wrestling, they do that. They fake the chair shots.
Wrestling's not fake.
Well, not fake, but it's staged. So like I was like, oh, they staged that net. He didn't really hurt him. Yeah.
Probably.
But you were tired of sitting up there. Not because I was up there, but just because you were tired of sitting up
I
there.
was absolutely tired of sitting up there. I was watching your TikTok algorithm the whole time from behind you and just had enough of it.
This is a Giants fan you're talking to here. So well, we can go there if you'd like. John Harbaugh, you think?
I don't know. I'm not sold on him. But
Really? Younger offensive mind?
need something special for Jackson Dart. Yeah.
I get it. So you're back. How are you feeling, first of all? Obviously, you get back on the ice last night. You score a goal. You look like you.
Looked like I what?
You look like you.
Oh. Yeah, after the first probably 5 minutes, I felt good. I think it took a little bit. I hadn't played against any pressure, really, other than the morning skate. So that was a little bit, whatever, get back up to speed. But, yeah, I felt good.
You missed a chunk of games. Jacob Slavin, the best player on this team, has missed more games. You look at the standings, though, in the conference, you're right there. That's fairly remarkable at this point, right? Like, even you can acknowledge that.
Yeah, we've done really good picking up for guys being out. Like you said, Slavo being out's a massive loss for us. And our D have done an incredible job as a core, stepping up in his absence and really making these injury games, the guys that were missing, make it, I don't know what word I'm looking for, but not as hard.
Does it bother you? Last night you beat a team in Dallas that I was kind of, that's a good win. And early in the year you went to Denver, you beat Colorado there. But your record against some of these better teams has been a little bit lacking. Does that bother you at all, or is this all about the marathon that is the regular season?
A little bit of both. I mean, it is a long season, and you want your wins, but speed it up. I'm lost.
You beat a good team last night. I was kind of like giving you a backhand compliment. It's kind of the thing I do.
Compliment. Yeah, it was always good to win, but you have to beat those teams later on in the playoffs. So, do want to up our record against them, but that's something we'll cross when we get there.
All right. Well, we'll ask you the secrets of good bussy next time we talk. Appreciate you taking the time with us today.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
What? The secrets of good bussy? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
It was enjoyable.
Yeah, there's a reason why he was looking at your TikTok algorithm while he was sitting above you.
The secrets of good bussy.
Anyway, big thanks to Seth Jarvis for putting up with our nonsense.
Yes.
He always puts up with our nonsense.
He's not a coffee person. That surprised me. As a youth, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. Some people just can't do coffee. So like Caleb can't do coffee. It just doesn't sit right with him, but he needs caffeine. So what he ends up doing is he goes out and gets those refreshers. Basically, it's like
not the vibe stuff that
no. It's like not the Celsius.
What is that stuff called?
Celsius. Yeah,
my words. I didn't drink the 10-year-old beer. You did.
Not Celsius. It's funny. I'd rather drink a 12-pack of these than like Celsius. A Monster or a Celsius and what's in those things. Anyway, so he does like the refreshers at like Starbucks or whatever it is, and because I have it's like a green extract that has a caffeine.
Okay.
So anyway, maybe he's just like that. Regardless. Again, thank you for Jarvis for putting up with our crap. Just like thanks to Rod Brind'Amour for putting up with our crap. So we ended up going to talk to Brind'Amour.
I don't know. I think Rod enjoys our therapy.
Do you think Rod enjoyed the conspiracy theory, or did he hit us with another conspiracy theory? Because you hit up.
We'll let
the audience decide. So the setup here is. So as people know, you can go, media is allowed to go to practice. And then after practice, you can talk to players. It's pretty open, all those types of things. And then Rod does his media availability. We ask the Canes, hey, can we pull Rod to the side for a few minutes? We don't do this all that often, but when we do, hey, we appreciate it. And they do. They make it available. Shout out to everybody. So we're in the hallway and we're talking to Rod, and you hit Rod with the conspiracy theory. And I think he hit you back with a better conspiracy theory.
Suggesting that you called your friends at Team Canada and said, hey, I know this.
How many friends in Team Canada? So that theory's out the window.
I said, this Jarvie, we need him. We need him.
But if I did, I would go with that theory.
If you could publicly cut him and make it so in a way that it motivates him in a way that I know that it will, I would super appreciate it.
You're on it there. It's just no. Obviously, we didn't do that. Although I would have thought about doing that if I had that connection, because we need them, for us. But I do wish those guys can play in that. It's a great experience that you don't get, and now they do. But it's every 4 years, whatever. It is special.
I am. You can be kind of sarcastic about it, but you go through the stretch. A lot has been made about 3-1 leads and the blown leads and the room and Jordan being mad and you clearly sending messages. But sometimes you have to take a step back and go, you don't have all your players. Yeah. And it's not lost on me that Jarvis is back in the lineup and you guys are energized.
Look different, right? Like, I think that's where I've had a hard time assessing the group because you go, got all these holes. And then all of a sudden the guy comes back and you go, we don't really have a hole. That took care of that. And then we're still kind of waiting on this one big area that's been obviously glaring for me, and is that going to get filled when Slava comes back and the things just look a lot different lately? So until that happens, I think it's still up in the air on how to really assess the group.
I do want to go back to the beginning of the season, training camp, something that we talked about with you about the sprints and the marathons, the various courses, things like that. Invariably, you go through the course of the season where things do kind of grind down a little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're not happy with how it happens. When do you decide as a coach? When does Jordan Stahl as a captain decide to kind of pull the Band-Aid off on some things that need to be said?
Well, I mean, that's the tricky part. I think, coach, you're talking every day, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So there's certain levels of attention that you got to get the players to get, and then you have to know when that's not going to work anymore. And then you only have so many, really bullets that you can throw in your gun or have in your gun to use, and you can't use them all by the game 40. So there are certain, that, and that's where I think Jordan's great. They and Marty, like, they understand that they got bullets too, and listen, they're all grown men. They all understand what's going on in there, and I think they, everyone now and then you need to fire one, and that's just how it goes.
I was gonna fluff you a little bit, give you some praise for what you've been able to do without Slavin and then of course Jarvis since the Florida game, but kind of sort of fuck that. Because you don't need that, and it's the midway point, and you're not going to assess it that way anyway. So let's not do that.
All right.
I'm going to give you a little soliloquy, and then I would like a great response from you.
All right.
Okay. It's become crystallized to me recently that coaching, real coaching, is putting players in a position to have their best success. And there's also a little bit in there of convincing players that they're better than they really are.
Yeah.
So you've had Frederick Anderson now for a run here. How do you get it out of him and convince him to be better than he probably thinks he is right now?
Well, that is what coaching is you're basically talking about the psychology of the sport and any sport. And most people in any sport they know the game, they're X and O's, they can tell you where to go and how to do this. But what you just touched on is probably the bigger thing in any sports, is get the guys to feel confident, get them feeling better, play better than they are, whatever. Like you just said it, you hit it on the head. I don't know that I have the answers for that. I've been through it, so that's probably where I maybe have an advantage on some things. I didn't know how to get it out of those either. So you know what I mean? Like it's not like I had the answers myself.
Sure.
I just know how you're feeling, and I think at the end of the day, you got to just trust your abilities, and and you got to keep getting the opportunities. Like you can't just go away from it, otherwise, then you never have it. Yeah. So we got to keep throwing him out there. We know he's capable. He looked good the other night. I thought there was some good saves in there, like solid. It's also how it looks. So you can't really judge necessarily sometimes the goals, and it's how they're going in, or should how you look. Sometimes you're making saves and you're like, oh man, you're getting lucky. You can tell Bus is dialed in. Right, you can see he's moving ahead of it. Like there's certain things that when guys are playing well, you see, and I thought Freddie took some steps the other night in that.
I was going to say, it's helpful that you have experience with him and that you understand a little bit how he works and how he ticks, because the talent is there. You know what I mean?
Freddie?
Yeah. I mean, the talent's there.
The goalies for our team, I don't deal a lot with. That's Paulie's job, and I stay out of it. Now, can I go in and talk about what we just talked about as a player? Yes, but I'm not getting into the technical things. I'm not. That's why I got a great goalie coach. But he's also has a real personal relationship with Freddie that goes deeper than what I have. So that's kind of his area of expertise, and that's how we operate.
Another great part of coaching: hiring really good people and trust them to do their jobs.
That's all of it. It's not what you know as much as like you just said, the kind of people you are, because you'll figure it out. Good people will figure out what they need to do, and then they're willing to do it. That's what I have here.
So part of our job is being online, interacting with fans, and kind of seeing reactions to things. And there are times where I take a step back and I ask myself, why are people reacting in such a way? Which then makes me think, if I'm reacting like this, I can only imagine what the front office and the coaching staff is reacting to. Like, what's up with all y'all? So there's two instances, and this relates to coaching. I was surprised by the reaction to your comments about KK yesterday. Online, it was like this big flabbergasting thing. And I'm reading it and I'm watching it and I'm thinking to myself, no, these are conversations that have probably been had, and you're kind of doing the pushing of KK to get something. Conversations you've had, now that's out there, now people can interpret it. Essentially, geez, now I have to go back. You're going to make me pull up the tweet from Walt.
I don't know.
You don't even remember. Actually, that's either my favorite part. You don't even remember what you said.
Not really. I mean, we had a conversation. I mean, I didn't realize.
You're looking for more. You're looking for more.
I hope so.
Right.
I mean.
So I guess that gets back to, what I'm getting at is, when conversations like that become somewhat public, is that something that you're not conscious of? Is there a calculation of, look, we're all seeing it, so I'm going to be upfront about it? Like, how do you approach that kind of thing?
Thought on that.
Yeah.
I mean, to be quite honest, I mean, we got a player that we need more out of, and we've given him plenty of opportunity. So now maybe when he gets his opportunity again, which he will, does it change? I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll find out. I mean, we gotta. To your other point, I got to find a way to get him to play at that ability that's there. So he'll get another opportunity, and then when he does, hopefully it all comes together.
Same with Nikishin. Sometimes he's watching upstairs. Sometimes people are focused in on an interaction between him and Tim Gleason, right? Yeah. But again, that's all part of the process,
he's
right?
A little different because he's a rookie,
right?
Like I know he's a little bit older, but he's a rookie in this league. I don't care how old you are, when you step into this league, that's a huge learning curve, and we've all talked about it, the language thing. I mean, it slows it all down. So you have to have a little more patience with a guy like that.
I was in the stands with fans the last couple of games. I think there was the hit he had on Trocheck on the blue line. Fans loved that. There was one yesterday behind the goal that people were excited about too. That's what they focus on. What are we not seeing?
Well, that's so of the, what did he play, 18 minutes last night or so? That's 10 seconds of the 18 minutes. So you have to look at the other stuff. And listen, it's getting better for sure. Yeah. And the problem with in that position is it's forward, you can get away with a little more. On defense, it's really critical. The errors, or the not even errors, but just not quite doing it right. It just leads to a lot of not good things. So he's getting there. Again, I think if he had learned, or if he knew the language a little better, I think the communication, everything would be fast-tracked.
Ahead of time.
I think it's taking a little longer, and it's not anything on him. It's not on like he's willing. I think the talent's there. I mean, I think we got a player. It's just it might take a little longer.
We might have different definitions of cup contenders, but I've got you at 2-8 against cup contenders this year. Does that bother you that you're not performing better against these teams that are probably up there with you in that contender status?
I don't really look at it that way. Again, I want to reserve my opinions maybe on our team right now, because I don't know what it is yet. Like, let's get a good look at it, and then go, okay, wait a minute, this is a problem. Like right now, I know we have problems, I know we have holes, but I still think we have some solutions sitting here, and maybe that, like I say, changes the trajectory of the other little issues that we might have.
Last question about those holes, as you mentioned. What kind of conversations do you have with Tom or with Eric about? And it's also a weird kind of trade deadline coming up, because there's a lot of people bunched up, so everybody's thinking they're kind of in it, right? So what are those conversations like, and what you have and what you need?
Yeah, well, that's pretty much daily with Eric. Not so much Tom anymore. I think he's
kind of busy.
He's letting Eric handle most of that. But no, we as a staff, we tell him, here's our issues, and then that's about all we can do. I mean, they decide whether they're worth, trying to find it, or we're good enough, right? I mean, that's the yin and the yang of this whole thing is what do you do about it? And it's, that's where it's out of our hands. I mean, we'll see.
It would help if I put ourselves back into the studio. That would be helpful.
It feels like a win.
Yeah, it does feel like a win.
Always learn something when we talk to Rod Brind'Amour.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to wait all the way to the end.
And what's that?
Well, Tom, not so much anymore.
I thought that was I did think that was interesting.
Huh.
He's busy.
Kind of leads us to a little bit of nerd stat guy versus hockey guy, doesn't it? You could maybe hear some of those conversations that happen. You could think maybe you could envision a scenario where Tulski gets a goalie off the scrap heap and says, Hey, man, you just got to trust the numbers.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can dig into that bargain bin basket and pull out a winner.
I'm sure that is a conversation that takes a place in not just every NHL franchise, but just about every sports franchise. The numbers, bargains, cap space. What are you doing? What do you want to save your money for?
I think about some of those power dynamics. Though.
Oh, I'm not. Hey, look, man, I am not. I'm not dismissing that at all.
Tondon's in there, torn, right? Wants to be the cool guy.
Yeah.
Wants Rod's approval.
Yeah.
Torn because his background, his numbers, and
Tulski's
being a bit of a polymath, right?
And Tulski's pretty good with those numbers.
He's pretty damn good with
those numbers, right?
So
I think
who's the ref there? Who's the judge? Who's the jury?
I think there's a push and pull to that all the time. All the time.
Absolutely.
All the time. And when it's all said and done, I kind of do agree with Tulski's point of view that you can get pretty far with a replacement level goalie if everything in front of you is cooking just right.
Right.
And to Rod's point, and he's right, and you have to look at it this way. They've had a very successful regular season without being 100% all year long. So they've been throwing a lot of curveballs, and it's not just not having Jacob Slavin. It's not just not having Seth Jarvis,
which would be enough, by the way.
It is enough.
Slavin would be plenty of an excuse.
People want to get on Carolina's penalty kill. Who do you think would help on their penalty kill, Joe? Maybe having one of the best defenders in the league.
The guy that you have marked the other best player in the
Yeah, that would probably help in that regard. So again, I've been pretty zen about it when it comes to the Carolina Hurricanes regular season, especially with the health factor into it. And I did think his answer to the whole your little stat about 2-8. What are you going to do when you don't have a full look at it? You know, that's probably the best way to look at it too. So anyway, great conversations. Always appreciate the time with Rod Brind'Amour, and of course, big thanks to Seth Jarvis, and of course, big thanks to our friends at Two Roosters. You can get the Slavin Sunday. That's always there. That's not out for an Olympic break. That's not It's not a maintenance day.
Not trying to buy an NBA team.
There is no yellow contact jersey on the Slavin Sunday.
Nice.
Get in there. Okay. So it's the best deal in the building. So go check them out, tworoosters.com. Check out their spot there at Lenovo Center. What, Ducks in action tonight, right? So go get it tonight.
Yes.
Go do that. Big thanks to our friends at Roback. OG20 is the promo code. Head on over to roback.com. Maybe you're thinking about some final days of winter. You're looking for hoodies. You're looking to refresh. Look, quarter zips are in right now. Even the kids are hype about quarter zips. I'm not making this up. Quarter zips are very trendy right now. Best quarter zips in the game. All right, Roback. So check them out. Roback.com. Use that promo code OG20. And of course, our friends at Brassfield Accounting. Chris Brassfield at Brassfield Accounting in Homer, Alaska. But two things. Location here in the RTP, which is key if you want to meet with somebody. And they've moved from, yes, we can get all your stuff in order to prepare you for tax season, but now they'll even do your taxes, Joe. They've added to the game. So head on over to brassfieldaccounting.com. Think of them as your fractional CFO to take care of all of your CFO needs if you're a small business. We might have to just get Chris to do them all too, for us, not you. No offense.
Everything?
Maybe not everything.
I did a lot of contract work yesterday. I want you to be slightly appreciative.
Did you?
I did.
All right. Well, thank you. You edit, or I edit. You do contract work.
No.
It's called teamwork, man. It's called teamwork.
We all have our roles.
Bring Brassfield Accounting on to be part of your team as a fractional CFO. That's all we're saying. So again, check them out online at brassfieldaccounting.com. Again, that's brassfieldaccounting.com. We thank them for being part of the OG being an OG corporate champion. As I say here, struggle to say words. Words are very, very important. Joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline, he is Gordon Miller. He is in studio.
Oh my God. What happened?
How'd you get here? Who let you in?
The code, the door.
How are you not posted up in Danville right now ahead of the CFP and the wild card round, man?
It's early in the day. Give me time.
You could be headed there after this.
You know,
is that what you're saying?
I'm already in my car. It's got to go somewhere. right, Joe, right?
You guys, all right. So our neighbor, Paul, he went to Danville this past weekend. And because I know I've talked to you two about it. The one thing I learned about this casino up there, which we're not going to name because we have our own corporate champion in DraftKings.
Yeah,
right?
we can name it.
Yeah, it's whatever.
DraftKings doesn't have a hotel.
They don't, but that's not here nor there. The point that I was making is you guys have gone up there. You've been going up there. Totally understand.
You've been going without me?
No, I've only been once with Gordon.
No, back when you could go across state lines. Did you have like a fast food spot that you hung out at?
Yeah, I would go to the McDonald's or the Dunkin' Donuts, depending on where
or the
the
Bojangles?
last winning bet was placed. Yeah,
or the Bojangles, or is the Bojangles didn't treat you right?
Well, it depends if you won or you didn't win.
Yeah,
right.
Well, what I didn't realize is that
supersize it.
I didn't realize it was like a full blown hotel.
Yeah,
I thought it was
they
just
have a concert facility. Scotty played there.
Huh?
Yeah,
I did not know this.
Oh my God!
And then Paul told me how much it costs to stay there. I was like, excuse me? That's not how it works. I thought the way it works is like you go to Vegas and they comp everything. That's not the case.
Well, no, if you lose enough in Danville and you have a player's card, they'll probably comp the hell out of you. Right. For every 10 grand, you get a free night.
It's like Mike Solarte won, our friend Mike Solarte,
I know Mike.
who's at Spectrum, and we used to do radio with back in the day. I happened to be in Vegas at the same time he was in Vegas for a poker tournament.
Oh, boy.
So we met up, and he was staying at this place called the D there on
downtown,
Fremont.
Owned by Derek Stevens of Detroit. Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
The D is for Detroit, by the way.
I did not know this.
There you go.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm learning all sorts of fun stuff today about the gambling business.
Yes.
Regardless, he was there. He was staying at the D. We were drinking like Dollar Miller Lights while playing Keno, catching up because I hadn't seen him in a hot minute. And
this is the most obvious gambling story of all time, by the way.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We were playing Keno
in
Vegas.
Hell yeah.
My wife's grandfather used to do that. He started like at 86 and then just played until he died. Yeah. So Joe's early.
That's about the time you'll probably cash out in Keno as well.
Yeah, that's about right.
They were just hanging out. And it's like, why here? Like, why are you staying here? And he's like, well, because I won this leg of a poker tournament. And of course, they want him back there all the time because they know they got him.
Oh, yeah, they'll fly him out there.
Right.
Yeah, flights, rooms.
It's like everything was taken care of because they were looking at the balance sheet and like, oh, we could give this guy a free room. We could give him some free drinks.
Eventually, he's going to lose.
And eventually, he's going to lose because that's why Vegas looks like the way that it looks.
And
that's my impression of like a casino hotel. So when I heard that this place up in Danville,
the D is downtown. It's not even on the strip in Vegas.
That's OG Vegas, though.
It's Frontier. It's like Fremont Street.
But that's OG Vegas, though.
All right. Well, yeah, dollar beers.
Yeah,
right.
That's
good
more
point.
my scene.
$5 prime rib. Yeah, all you can eat. I remember that. Yeah.
I remember the first time I ever went to Vegas as a kid. It was like the $4 buffet. You can get all the things you could want. It's not really like that anymore.
No, now it's $187 buffet.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, for the same amount of food. So you got to go really hungry.
I've not been to Vegas since 03.
It's not what you think it is.
I haven't been since March.
Now that being said, would I love to go to Vegas for an NCAA tournament?
Yeah, that's when I was there.
Just hang out.
Yeah,
right. I would love to do that.
Well,
that would be
fun. What 27? The Final Four is in Vegas.
Is the Final Four in Vegas in 27?
Yeah.
No, next year is Detroit. 26 is Indy, 27 Detroit.
Vegas. I'm almost positive Vegas is.
Well,
on
if it's in the
schedule,
if it's in Detroit, I know there's a casino up there.
27.
We got a place to stay, Gordon.
Oh, the MGM.
No, I'm saying, can we crash for you?
Well, yeah, actually, you could. We've got all sorts of extra space.
All right,
we don't have kids at home anymore.
Is the Final Four there this year?
No, Indy this year.
It's Indy this year. The next year.
Yes.
So
Next year is
27 Detroit. Oh, we're there. I love Detroit.
Yeah.
Right.
To answer your question,
That's your hockey town.
Yeah.
To answer your question, Caesars does not want random people staying at that hotel.
I see.
Like, they don't want you spending $160 like it's the downtown.
I
Marriott.
gotcha.
They want to keep people away.
I got you.
And if you are there with your player's card and you have, spent a decent amount of time there, they'll comp you the room. They'll take care of you.
Well, speaking of not wanting
like a free burger, then you work up to like a cocktail.
They don't want high school kids. They don't want college kids. They don't want fly-by-nights. They don't want any of that shit.
Well, speaking of things you don't want to pay closing costs.
No, you don't.
It's not a thing you want to do. Okay.
That's money you could actually put on in the casino cage in Danville, and then they would give you a room.
And you can use the money that you save by not paying closing costs to get a hotel room up in Danville.
Yeah, if you have a really big loan amount, maybe you could buy a hotel, Joe.
Maybe they could.
Maybe they could.
Hey, if you want to finance a hotel operation, I'm sure Gordon can make that thing work
for no cost.
For no cost at all. All right. Before we get into some NFL and college football playoff picks about the no closing cost, where are we right now with rates?
Rates have kind of been steady and dropping a little bit. So, what you've seen no cost wise is we just quoted some 30-year no cost under 6.
Really?
Which I was surprised by.
A 30 under 6 at this point.
Because the average of everybody's cost right now nationally is like 6.19.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're a no closing cost lender and you go through how we get the money in order to cover your cost, if you don't have long-standing relationships where you get better pricing as a result of committed volume, you're not going to get those kind of rates.
Okay.
So I think the one thing that we deal with the most is people say, oh, no cost. Yeah, I've heard of those. They're like 0.5% higher. And, over the course of the life of the loan, if you make it to 30 full years with that mortgage, it's going to cost you an extra, $27,000 or something crazy. I don't know anyone who's kept a loan for 30 years. The average life of a mortgage is not 5 years.
Yeah, no.
So we were doing some bad math the other day. The editor from the Wall Street Journal, who I've dealt with before in the past, had reached out about what he was working on. He's doing a book.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in but it's a book, Joe, on buying a house, going through the process. And I brought up that one thing that I find frustrating in our industry is that, say you take a loan out a year ago at 7%. You paid $15,000 because rates were 7.5, 7 3/8. And you wanted to get down to 7. So you paid that $15,000. 1 year later, you had a chance to refinance again. And you paid off that loan at 7% from last year. If you calculated what that annual percentage rate was because you paid the loan off in less than 30 years.
Get in front of the microphone, Gordon.
It's 12.67% is what you paid.
Oh, geez.
If you don't keep the loan long enough, which nobody keeps the loan to term, when people focus on the APR is not telling you anything. It's the cost of a loan over 30 full years. My argument to Ben was make it timed out to the average life of a mortgage in the worst case. So if nationally, for all the mortgages there are, say that it's 5, 6, 7 years, don't spread these costs out over 30 when nobody's going to keep a loan for 30.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
And I have one more question. By the way, contact Miller Lending. Go to millerlending.com. Again, that's millerlending.com.
And then there is an OG
and mention us
on the site, and you'll get an amazing gift basket as well.
From the Butcher's Market. Yep. And we are Butcher's Market OG Live today. So I have one more financing question before we move on to picks. Kelly and I were actually talking about this today. Because, kids will be out of the house. Both kids will be out of the house here within the next 5 years. And
that's why we have space for you at the Final Four.
Yes.
Because we have no kids.
So,
sorry, boys.
So if we want to, we want to do some like home remodel, because it doesn't make any sense to like redo their bathrooms because they're gross. So we're waiting for them to leave before we redo that area of the house with the bathrooms. But like, let's say like we got a really good rate. We don't want to mess with that. So so are there other options? Like say you got a home remodel on your mind in the next year or so. You want to do something in 2026. You want to do something in 2027, but you're already in a good rate. How do you use the equity in your home for that?
Yeah. And that's one of the things Joe can attest to. I mean, the thing that we've done being in this market forever, and that's the one difference. We've been here. It's got
to be 30 years now.
This is our 30th year in North Carolina.
Okay. That's what I thought.
God, have I been around a long time.
I love it when you do the math.
And over 30 years, you establish yourself to the point where you don't need to sell every loan. And as we mentioned previously, when I had Mortgage Radio, I would advise. I didn't believe in just trying to write a loan like so many mortgage people do. Depending on other debt, depending on what your balance is and what your current rate is. If your current rate's 2.5, but you only go 80 grand and you have 100 grand to borrow, you might think of something different.
Yeah.
But, for the most part right now, it's home equity lines until the rates come down. You wouldn't go ahead and wipe out. That's the problem right now for the housing market, the existing home market, is they keep thinking that just magically over the course of time, all these folks that are sub 3 are going to buy and pay over 6. That whole smaller house for the bigger payment thing doesn't really work out for anyone.
There's a lot of houses that are just kind of
a lot of houses are sitting and gonna sit.
All right,
you can't downsize.
So let's start with let's actually start with the action tonight. with the college football playoff. My dad has already said straight up, even though
he's biased,
Miami is a 3-point favorite currently against Ole Miss, which is surprising given that Ole Miss is going through all of the Lane Kiffin-induced drama with who's coaching and who's not. I'm surprised that, like, what's at work here? SEC bias or Mario Cristobal, nobody believes in you, or is somebody in Vegas tapped in with my dad who keeps telling me, the Hurricanes have never won in the Fiesta Bowl?
I was just about to say that is not a great bowl game for them. Now,
it is not.
This was the old Sun Devil Stadium, though, where they lost to Penn State in the '86 national championship game.
And they had a month off between games.
Yeah, a little bit different back then.
Wasn't the infamous Ohio State pass interference
also there?
That was in the Fiesta Bowl.
Yes,
that was there.
So two times where they were clearly the best team in the country.
Yes,
Miami has lost the national title. I'll say this: I was wrong about Ole Miss last week. I thought they would lose to Georgia. Watching the first half of that game, they should have lost to Georgia, but that's for another day.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say this: they've been extremely fortunate to play two teams that they've already played.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it, that's a great advantage for a makeshift coaching staff, or even a coaching staff with Pete Golding that was there. And now you get the little bit of an element of surprise on Georgia in particular. I thought Ole Miss played a lot better defensively, because now you have a head coach who's a defensive-minded head coach making more decisions. You say all this, Trinidad played out of his fucking gourd.
My Ferris State QB.
Yes, you're Ferris State. And you're the only one who knows that when he was at Ferris State.
That program has been a dynamite power for decades.
So I think they had an advantage. I still, their locker room still believes that quarterback, maybe he should have won the Heisman. I'm a Heisman voter, but maybe I missed out on him. I like Miami's front, the way that they played up front against Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
They controlled that game. I like Miami's confidence right now.
Yeah,
the way that they're playing.
The trenches was my thing.
And I'll keep saying it. Miami has the best skill players in college football. I don't think Ole Miss can hold them the way that they were able to kind of counterpunch with Georgia, because I think Miami's got better skill players than Georgia. I think they do.
Look at the QB experience as well. So, I mean, okay, you won a D6 national championship at Ferris State, but you've got Carson Beck, who's been on the big stage now for a while with Georgia, and he's going into the national semifinal now against a quarterback that is on a stage maybe a little bit bigger, but I'm going with the Ben Johnson effect on this game.
Okay.
How did we get there?
How did we?
The week leading up to the game.
Leave it to Detroit, man, to make it about Detroit.
This might make sense to you. The week leading up to the game, all the stories out of Detroit was that Ben Johnson was busy with building a staff and interviewing a staff.
Yeah.
And here's the Ole Miss staff that's recruiting and dealing with the portal and dealing with all these things. And oh, by the way, we have Miami to prepare for. I just think it's too much of a distraction internally, and that's why I'm expecting Miami to dominate the trenches tonight and win that game. I think it's a lower scoring game. I don't think Miami can win a shootout.
Now, the other game is a rematch with Indiana and Oregon.
Great game that was.
Indiana's only a 3.5-point favorite in this game.
Okay, so I got my clock cleaned on this one in the regular season.
That was a great game, too.
Oregon at home gets Indiana. Indiana, at the time, I thought might have been smelling their own, smelling themselves on that one. Oregon coming off an open date. But Oregon actually said this week, hey, we were the ones a little bit too full of ourselves. They beat Penn State, had the open date. We're reading their own clippings, sucking their own popsicle. And Indiana went in there and beat them. I lean towards Oregon, and it's almost like an NFL division rematch. But I don't know.
It's tough to tell.
I don't know.
Who's more of the sicko? Is it Kurt Cignetti or Dan Lanning? Now, Dan Lanning, everybody gets caught up in his facial expressions and how he's kind of wired. Well,
did you watch Kurt last game?
And now we're all now Kurt on Front Street for most people in these situations. You're seeing how much of a sicko he is.
His facial expressions were humorous. The third time out before when he was looking across the field saying, "Really, you think this is gonna be your advantage by calling another timeout and we're just gonna do this all day?" Okay.
To me,
do what you want to do.
I got Indiana in this one and maybe I'm just going off the last thing I saw being the best thing I saw, but the way they smushed Alabama and just looked like grown ass men in this game would lead me to believe they're going to win this whole damn thing.
They were able to protect Fernando Mendoza against Alabama. Alabama struggles defensively. Oregon, I thought, had a point to make after the James Madison game where they felt defensively that they were being picked on.
Sure.
The chess match here is, I think you're going to get a lot of counters to what you had Texas Tech go into that game last week thinking, oh, James Madison did this, so we're going to do this. I think Cignetti is a little bit of a next level thinker.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
He'll dial up some of the things that worked in Eugene. He'll dial up some of the things that James Madison did, but he's going to dial up a lot of the adjustments that Oregon made against Texas Tech. And I think he'll ultimately stay a step ahead of him. Honestly, I think if I'm the Raiders, I would take Dante Moore. I think he's the better pro prospect. That's the way I see it. But,
although if you believe Stephen A. Smith, he shouldn't even go pro. He should stay. He'll make more money in college, or he has a better situation in going to college than he does going to the Jets. That's been like the hot new thing.
Yeah, because they have a second pick.
Right.
But I think it could be a well football game, to be honest.
Oh, it should be a great game. The one thing that you've noticed here from Indiana, because you try to figure out how did Indiana become a football school? You know, he comes in from James Madison the first year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you do that.
It's money and old dudes.
But nobody.
It's really what it is.
Nobody else can do. Nobody else is undefeated, and they play with such specific execution.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing, is that they don't beat themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else, Dante makes mistakes.
He does.
It's going to come down to, if they play a clean game, nobody's going to beat them.
All right.
Then they have more skill than people give them credit for. You know,
Indiana? Yeah.
They got worked last year. And the first year was truly a James Madison, 23 players from James Madison.
Team, right?
He did a great job of everyone knowing, being on the same page, singing from the same songbook. This year, after they lost to Notre Dame the way that they did, after they lost to Ohio State last year the way that they did, he went to the portal and specifically said, I'm getting X amount of defensive linemen. I'm getting X amount of offensive linemen. And then, of course, he hits the scratcher with Mendoza from Cal, who no one else was really that hot after and knew how to use Mendoza. So, listen, I think this could be a really good football game. We have so many rematches. I feel like the committee fucked this thing up, and I said it that day when they seeded it the way that they did.
The same thing. Right.
I was like, guys, you got to pull an NCAA basketball tournament here. You got to fiddle with these things,
right,
so that we get a little bit more of what we're looking for. Ultimately, I do think it works out with the two semifinal games that we get. I would actually stay with
the way it played out. But
yeah, I would sit out the Indiana Oregon game, gambling wise. I don't have a great sense of
that number. I would as well. What's the total on that game?
Are you gonna? Well, I just backed out of that one. I was gonna
52.5.
Because I was gonna focus on the Packers and the Bears and in which ways you can hate watch that one.
Oh, I definitely hate watching it. I'm going to buy it like a foam cheesehead for that thing. You kidding me? You should see what I've been dealing with on X with the Bear crowd telling me about how they are going to the Super Bowl. And Caleb is a Hall of Famer. And, yes, and all this good stuff. And I said, but you lost twice to Detroit, including a game you played everybody. Oh, but they didn't try.
Oh, is that what it was?
They didn't try.
Gotcha.
They played. All the starters played, but apparently it was a vanilla game plan. They didn't try.
Oh,
because they're going to surprise Green Bay, who they've already played twice in a month.
Yeah, we already spent time on the Panthers and the Rams. I was surprised that this one's essentially a pick'em with the Bears at home. It's -1.5 for the Green Bay Packers.
I made this.
Oh, it flipped.
Oh, did it flip?
I think that flipped. Yeah, I thought the Bears were favored to begin with, but it doesn't make any sense.
Speaking of Twitter, I made this point this week. Best coach in college football right now, arguably Kurt Cignetti, former NC State assistant coach.
What about coach? Former customer of No Cost.
There we go.
Hey,
the guy.
If you have his number, by the way, I do want to try to get him for a little bit of marketing. We knew each other well. It was always, hey, Gordon, how you doing? It's like, hey, how's your brother doing? Frank had a better job at that time, but yeah, no, Kurt's a down to earth, cool guy.
He is. Of course he is. Of course he is.
There's no ego behind that.
Former NC State
QB coach.
Earmuffs. The guy who did the best coaching job in the NFL this year, the Carolina grad, Ben Johnson. So the antidote to Triangle Good is out there.
I was thinking Vrabel myself when you said that.
It's all out there. It's all out there. I didn't realize there was apparently Bills fans are believing in some sort of conspiracy theory against the Jaguars. I need to spend less time online, so I haven't spent that much time investigating this.
Theory?
Yeah, there's something about, I guess what the Bills fans are doing is they're already setting up the coping mechanisms for when they don't make it to the Super Bowl when the path is clear. You know what I mean?
But, I mean, isn't it going to be a Bills home game, essentially?
You would think so in Jacksonville, yes.
There is no Jags.
There are. Well,
their fans are in London.
You got some. You
They're
got some
in Germany.
Nah, you got Duval County people that'll show up for this kind of stuff. So, but yeah,
hopefully.
for the most part, it should be a be a Bills run. I mean, to me, with the Buffalo Bills, picks aside, whatever. To me, this is just simply a guys. This is it for you. The path is clear. Go do something with it. Get to the Super Bowl.
Right.
If they don't, then Sean McDaniel. And that's the thing that
no Mahomes, no Jackson.
I mean, that's honestly why, the Mike McDaniel thing, right? So yesterday we talked about Mike McDaniel and apparently being safe with the Dolphins. That is no longer the case. As of today, Mike McDaniel was fired by the Miami Dolphins.
They have a plan B.
Well, right, because yesterday on the podcast, towards the end of it, I saw the Adam Schefter report that they were reaching out to or in contact with John Harbaugh. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. They haven't fired Mike McDaniel yet. So when I saw that today, I'm like, oh, then that conversation must have gone well with Harbaugh. Right. They're also of the opinion that you better get to it now. You better get to it now, because depending on what happens with the Bills, Sean McDermott might be out of a job. Depending on what happens with the Pittsburgh Steelers this weekend, Mike Tomlin might be out of a job. So there's
Can you imagine John Harbaugh going to the Steelers? Wouldn't that be great theater?
That would be some theater.
Wouldn't that be so much fun?
That would be. You a swap, and Mike Tomlin goes to the Baltimore Ravens.
To the Ravens. There you go.
Do a swap in
Let's
one
just
way.
do
or
it.
the
They
other.
both
So
kind of
that
got
would be-
old, and
that would be kind of funny. But yeah, it's funny looking at the lines. Everything is essentially tight outside of the Panthers and the Rams, which is currently 10.5. The next largest spread is the Eagles 5.5,
which they lost
over the Niners
to the Niners already, right?
Yeah.
And the Eagles are we'll see. I mean, I could make a case for all 6 road teams this week if you really wanted to drive to Danville and take a 6-team underdog.
All right. Well, we got to
Texans
do.
are the only team that I trust this week.
The Texans?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I trust the Rams too, but
not to the number.
Oh well, no, just to win, but not that 10.5 is a lot for a playoff game.
I think the Texans got a dream matchup. I mean, their Texans have been unbelievable defensively. They get a team that really isn't very good offensively. So it's a one trick.
First weekend is usually double-digit wins too, isn't it?
It can be.
Starts off pretty wide.
I think this year we talked about this on the podcast. When in the 80s, we saw some really good teams win the Super Bowl. There were also a couple years, Washington, namely the Raiders, sometimes
Trent Dilfer.
Yeah, there's also a couple times where teams win and you're like,
wait, how'd this happen?
Wait a second. Yeah. Well, Trent Dilfer had one of the all-time great defenses in the history of the game. So But sometimes the Redskins coach wins it with Joe Gibbs. Sometimes you just win it because you drew the best draw and you ran through the bracket. You got a little bit of luck. You didn't have to beat Joe Montana. All of a sudden you show up and Thurman Thomas can't find his helmet. It happens. We haven't had one of those in a minute now. Brady kind of broke our brain, and Mahomes, as it's kind of gone through, but kind of feels like to me that it really could be any. The only team that would surprise me is the Chargers.
Well,
literally the only team that surprised me.
Funny you would mention the Chargers, because I was just going to tell a story about the one time I actually flew to Vegas because I'm like, I've got to bet this.
So now you're old school.
That was old school. It's like this is too simple. And it was the Niners against Dan Humphries and the Chargers. And they put up 50. And but here's the thing about
at that game.
Here's the thing about Vegas. If you remember, Humphries had a little bit of garbage time success. So it actually came down to the fact that the Chargers had the ball with a chance to cover the spread.
Oh, it's a huge number.
Just so that whole room would get really nervous. It was like 20. Yeah, it was
again sick.
It was crazy.
Straight sicko behavior. Gordon Miller, Miller Lending. Go online.
Sicko was good.
Go to millerlending.com. Find us there. Tell them we sent you. You heard Gordon's conversation. And we will get you a Butcher's Market gift basket to go along with that, and a rowback to go along with that. Look at that. You got the hat, a shirt, get to hang out with a punting legend.
And you get a proper APR.
I love it.
Because there's no cost to factor in over 30 years. There's nothing.
All right, Gordon. Have fun this weekend, man. We'll talk to you later.
You bet. Thanks, guys.
Well, that was fun. Again, I'm just like just killing it with the I'm off my live game. Can you tell? I'm off my live game.
It's been a minute.
It has been a minute since we've been like live for real. I'll have to get back into the habit of that. Anyway, always fun to hang out with Gordon. And we are going to go to Danville at some point. We're going to do that. But before we do that, we have to draw up some contracts, some policies between you and me and the LLC. So we can contact.
No, we need to talk to Josh about what's allowed to be used in Danville and what's not.
Yes, this is true. Because you were asking me some questions like, what if? I'm like, well, can we do that? Is that legal? Well, if you have a conversation like that with your business partner, can we do that? Is that legal? You know who can answer that for you? Whitaker and Hammer. So check them out online, wh.lawyer. Again, that's wh.lawyer. You know what's not a good financial plan?
Hope.
Scratchers. Going to Danville. Futures. My $5 gang on the Panthers losing in the Super Bowl at plus 10,000. That's a bad financial plan. What you need is a proper financial plan. So you know who can do that? Matt Davis at State Farm. Yes. Home insurance, auto insurance. Those things, they got you covered. You save money. But let's think about the future. What is your retirement looking like? That's something that requires a little bit more work, a little bit more planning, and certainly some expertise. And that's something that Matt Davis can help you with. So it goes beyond home and auto, but financial planning, retirement planning as well.
His expertise. Yes.
His expertise. Do not take Joe's.
Matt's word for it.
Yeah, Matt's not going to be like, well, you know, if you put $5 down on this ticket. No. That's not.
It's, $2,000. So
yeah, no, that's not it. That's not it.
No? Okay.
Big thanks to Hometown Realty as well. Check them out online at myhtr.com. Again, that's myhtr.com. We were talking about with Gordon and the housing market and things like that. He's handling the financing side of things, obviously, to help you explain that. But if you've been wondering, hey, is it the right time to sell my house? Or, hey, should I take advantage of some of these homes that have been sitting on the market for a long time? Like, what can I do here? Hometown Realty can help you out with that. So hit them up today, myhtr.com. Again, that's myhtr.com. Shout out to Blind Lemon Jello. You get OG coin available on the Red Circle and at various crypto markets. Funny story about that as we get out of here with some Hey Joe. Back at the height of crypto, I did look into an OG coin for real. Like for real. What would it take to do some sort of blockchain purchasing of an exclusive photo that nobody could ever just copy and paste with an OG coin? Obviously, that went nowhere. Clear that went nowhere.
For the best.
It's probably for the best. Let's see. Let me go back to the YouTube comments here. I think the next time we go live, I'm going to enact the show comments on stage. So there's a rolling commentary that's visible all the time.
I don't know how to do that.
Yeah. So you can see, I just put it up on the screen now.
Oh, okay.
You could do like a small little, you could do wide. You can do a medium size, regular, like all that stuff exists on the YouTube where you can actually get live commentary visible to everybody, not just something that shows up when I want it to show up. Right. So there you go. Isn't the OG coin the OG Founders Club coffee mug? Yeah, that's a collector's item. That kind of goes up there with Dimitri's Christmas gift to me, an old G105 Stereo Rock.
This
is when G105 was a rock station.
Stereo, though.
Well, hey, man, stereo was a big deal.
Yeah.
Come on now. FM, no static at all. Bow, bow. Sorry, I'm going to my Steely Dan phase. Let's see. There was some. Here it is from Bubba. Appreciate it. $5 for my ER visit.
Cover it, but it all
I don't
helps.
think something tells me that $5 ain't gonna cover my ER visit. Look, I feel fine after drinking the beer. I feel fine.
10-year-old beer.
Yeah, I think I'm fine. I'm not going to be worried about it. Definitely not going to be worried about it. What else do we have in the YouTube comments here? What do we got here? Yes, I did learn about the underbelly of society from Al. Did Vegas back in 2019 for the NCAA. Absolutely worth the trip. Any sports book, just a sensory overload. Al, what about Giglio makes you think that a sensory overload would be a good idea? Like, honestly, what about this man makes you go, I know what Joe needs in his life? A bunch of TVs with a bunch of basketball games going on with the ability to bet. I think that's a terrible idea. An absolutely terrible.
We'll do the show live.
That's an even worse idea. An even worse idea. All right, we'll get out of here on this. Some of you guys have opinions. This is from the YouTube comments. From Pac-Man. Joe needs to call, Vanna to work on the swag walls a little bit, kind of getting cluster-fucky back there. Ovies looks like he's sitting in a hoarder's house. What if I am a hoarder? Did you ever think about that? From Sid Vicious. That Birkenstock sneaker looks like a big parade float. That's fair.
He got the Velcro.
From Kelly up in Wisconsin, coming tomorrow on the podcast, a 15-minute discussion on the new Comfort Screw It, I'm Old shoes, shoelace free. Oh, man, give me some SAS shoes? Dang, man, I'm not that old yet.
Are you sure?
I'm not that
Did you fucking look at those things you put on your feet yesterday?
There's nothing wrong with the Birkenstock sneaker. Also, are these okay?
Perfectly acceptable.
The clogs are okay.
Yes.
Okay, the clogs are okay. Which, by the way, when I go clogs, my sock game just becomes even better. Look at that.
Amazing.
I just get to get the patterned socks.
Amazing.
Even better.
You know why the person made that comment about your wall, right?
No, I don't actually.
Because your new frame, your new slide makes it even look busier.
What, this one?
No, you cleaned that up.
No, I cleaned it up.
Yeah.
Remember this is the cleaned up version.
Okay.
Remember the first one? Yes, you're right.
The first one
No, you're right. The first one was like, let me go full maximalist.
Memento.
And there was all sorts of stuff. So I cleaned this one up. And this one looks better, don't you think?
No, it looks great, actually.
Okay.
I like Morgan.
Okay, good.
I like isolated Morgan.
We put Morgan in there. Obviously, we got the drinking friends and everything else. So just want to make sure that that's the case. Anyway, from Ken, the Bostons are good. The sneakers are bad. The sneakers are not bad. The Birkenstock sneakers work for me, okay? They work for me. It's not like I'm wearing Skechers shape-ups, right?
Poor Skechers. They'll never
recover. That's the thing. Skechers actually used to be cool back in the day. There was a point where Skechers were cool. Do you remember Simple shoes?
Mm-hmm.
The skater shoes? I used to wear those back in the day as well. But maybe this is a Mandela effect. I don't know. But I thought Skechers at one point in time were actually cool. And then they transitioned over to an old person shoe with like the shape ups and medical fields where you can stand in them all day and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm misremembering how they really were. What?
There's a couple golfers who have Skechers, and it's like,
well, look, all I know is that when I show up to Charlotte for ACC tournament in my in my Birkenstock sneakers, people could be like, "Hell yeah, hell yeah!" Kyle wants to add a sneaker. If we add a sneaker chat to the pod, I will up my level to $0 a month. Yeah, I never was part of sneaker culture. I'll be the first to admit. You are though.
Yeah,
you like shoes, and that's probably why you have such opinions on my sneakers. Anyway. That's going to wrap it up for today's OG Live. Big thanks to the Butcher's Market. Big thanks to everybody who's been hanging out with us today. Big thanks to Brendan Marks and
Canes, Seth Jarvis, Brind'Amour.
Everybody. We appreciate that. Oh, and Canes fans, do me a favor. Canes fans. Because I saw this. I'm not going to do it. But I'm going to ask you to do it. The Canes fans in the audience, right? Because I lurk on Reddit, right? And I recently saw a post about like Canes coverage and things like that. And it's like, guys, we got good stuff here. Put it there. So if you like the interview with Brind'Amour, put it in the Reddit so that people actually can see it. That sort of thing. That's what I'm saying. So if you like, especially with Canes, because I know with Canes fans, there's like an authenticity thing type of thing. Like I'm not going to go in the Canes subreddit and be like, here you go, guys. I'm not going to do that. But if you did it, that would be appreciated. I know Al did. He already put it on Blue Sky. Maybe Canes Blue Sky will see the Brind'Amour interview and chill out on the Nikishin and KK conversations. Because, dude, I was flabbergasted. I'll be honest with you. I know we're going a little longer or whatever. I mean, we're live. Who cares? I was a little surprised by, maybe it's the yeast getting to me. I was surprised by the level at which people had a meltdown over Rod's comments about Kotkaniemi on Tuesday. As if we haven't watched with our own eyes over the last 5 years what's been going on. And somehow it's like, psh, Rod's a crap coach. I'm like, okay, over this one player? Over this one? Okay. But the internet never ceases to amaze me. Never ceases to amaze me. Anyway, now we're done for real. We'll see you for an OG mailbag tomorrow, including a very special guest who has a Hey Joe for us. As in, why haven't you had me on the show this week?
I'm excited.
So we'll have some fun with that. See you then.